Oh, yeah. Yeah, here for you. Only you. You and you and you. It's here for you. It's all about you, y'all. Orange pill is here for you. This is the orange grenade. This is what you need if you want to cause a ruckus. Just lob it into any fiat money and it'll turn orange. Stacy.
Really? It will turn orange. It's like a stink bomb. Apparently. That's what it's like, right? I'm going to go over to our channel and see the live stream, the conversation going on. So, guess what we're microdosing, Max?
What?
We are microdosing the Bitcoin Mining Council and the alien invasion.
Oh, good. Let's get into it right now.
You know, First of all, I want to say congratulations. You survived the largest capitulation event in Bitcoin's history. The largest by, if you look at there's like a chart and there's like all these red things going down throughout the past 11 years. And this one is like really big and red and down. It was the largest capitulation event. It was fun. Of course, everybody was chillaxed and relaxed in our Telegram group, t.me/orange pill, weren't they?
It don't mean nothing. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. These contractions, these pullbacks, these capitulations. We've seen 15 of them in the last 11 years. This was the 6th biggest garden variety pullback. Things been compounding at over 200% a year. Made millionaires all over the world. It's got the central banks on the run. It's got mainstream economists with the runs. That's right. They're taking all kinds of medication to stop that explosive diarrhea of the mouth. Paul Krugman can't stop shitting. Lies.
Well, speaking of Paul Krugman, I have some headlines related to him. Everybody's, of course, talking about that you look like Cubano and Panamano. You're wearing, a nice little hat there. I think you got it in New Orleans, right?
Cuba. Yeah, I got it in New Orleans. This is called the Santana model. I got it at a hat shop in New Orleans. They got a few hat shops there with some excellent hats. And, if you want to see it on one of our famous films, go check out the episode 10 of Gonzo with Max and Stacy as we're saying goodbye to Florida and Florida Man. I'm wearing this hat, which I got in New Orleans. And that's the legend of this hat. That's the pedigree of this hat.
Hey, everybody. Lots of people saying hi in the comments. Now, of course, we're going to get to the Bitcoin Mining Council.
Yeah, do it.
But we're first going to start with the alien invasion because that's a story that's overlooked.
It is.
It's like everybody's ignoring the fact that the headline reads the Pentagon, not, Joe Bag of Donuts with his like alien invasion YouTube account. The Pentagon strongly suspects aliens exist and we've got the evidence. So they're saying, the aliens have already invaded. And I'm saying like governments will literally invite an alien invasion, then fix the money.
Well, the thing is, I said years ago that Bitcoin would attract aliens because up until Bitcoin, there was no reason for aliens to invade Earth because we had nothing they wanted. Now they've got something they want, Bitcoin, and they've got some computational powers of their own. And Bitcoin is good throughout the multiverse. Actually, Bitcoin is the only money you can take with you after death. Remember that old saying? There's only two things in life that are certain, death and taxes. And you can't take it with you, you hear often. But now you can take it with you. Bitcoin is good in the afterlife. That's what Satoshi meant when he said, For those who are looking for a sweet time in the afterlife, stack sats.
Well, I'm pretty convinced Elon Musk is one of them because of his whole like lack of any sort of, he's on, I think when they say, when somebody proclaims like, "Hey, guess what, people? I'm on the spectrum." I think they're really saying like they're one of these alien invaders and that's why they don't act like a normal human being.
Yeah, holding his mom's hand, that was a tip off. But the thing about Elon Musk is that we have to understand that he's basically a noob. He's a newbie.
Yeah,
He's very
yeah.
new to Bitcoin, and he's making all the newbie mistakes. He's making the mistake of, "Hi, I just found out about Bitcoin. I'm here to fix it." He's making that mistake. He's like, "Oh, I just found Bitcoin. Let me start shitcoining." He's making that mistake. "Oh, the mainstream media has a narrative about energy FUD. I'm gonna decide that is somehow meaningful." He made that mistake. So don't make mistakes that Elon makes. Don't go into shitcoins. Don't listen to the mainstream media, and just stack and let Bitcoin do for you what you can't do for yourself, and that is to become like Bitcoin Chris.
I just found a reason that we should be, of course, trying Paul Krugman for crimes against, well, I guess against the state, right? For treason. He should be tried for treason because remember, so if we have these alien invasion happening now suddenly, like, is it no coincidence that Nobel laureate allegedly, this guy who won the Nobel Prize in economics and writes for the paper of record. Of course, if aliens like even fly by, they're going to look at the paper of record, right? They're going to read the New York Times, see what's going on this planet. Should they invade? Should they come here? Should they visit? And I bet you anything that aliens passed by in 2011 and they saw this headline, Paul Krugman and an alien invasion could fix the economy. So, there's probably Karens in the whole alien community and they were like, "Hey, we could fix this." Like, "Hey, I'm new to Bitcoin. I'm here to fix it." Like the same thing. It's like, "Hey, these people are saying they need help fixing their economy. Let's go down there." And yeah, they could have brought Bitcoin. Who knows?
Look, I don't want to say anything that would trigger anybody or cause post-traumatic stress disorder, but the facts are the facts. Okay.
What is it?
3 days after 9/11, Paul Krugman wrote a column in the New York
Mm.
Times suggesting that it was a good thing because it would spur a lot of economic activity in lower Manhattan. Okay, it did spur a lot of economic activity in lower Manhattan, but I wouldn't characterize 9/11 as a good thing, as Paul Krugman of the New York Times does. I don't think this guy really, he's got a few screws loose. He's been dead wrong about so much over the years. He thought the internet was a fad, wouldn't last. He's obviously dead wrong about Bitcoin. He's a gun for hire for the elites to put out obfuscation and dribble that gets picked up by other media outlets. And yeah, he is a Nobel Prize winner, but so was, a lot of people that is a highly questionable choice.
Yeah. Well, yes, listen to Paco. Paco's in the comments there in the live chat telling you, you cucks out there to smash the like button because, obviously I see 564 people live streaming and 150, I think, likes, thumbs up. Go smash the like. Where else in the financial news? Where else in the Bitcoin news do you hear such analysis about alien invasions? Everybody else is ignoring the alien invasion because they're embarrassed because of all the stuff they said about conspiracy theorists and tinfoil hat sorts, and now they
Remember,
don't know
they
how to
tried to
deal.
ban everyone from going to Area 51 just a
Yeah.
year ago or so. And now the Pentagon is acknowledging that they've been tracking aliens for a while. So, you can't believe anything anybody says. You got to just believe your own eyes. And if you've seen aliens, then you should, take that on board and be honest with yourself that you've seen aliens and the aliens have seen you. And try to procreate with an alien. That could be something that would save humanity from extinction. They've got the technology, especially you guys. You want semen from humans going out into other parallel dimensions and galaxies to carry forth our species. Don't be shy. Some of those aliens are cute.
Jesus. Wasn't it South Park where, like, wasn't it Cartman? Which one guy, or Can he, like, which one got probed anally by aliens?
Yeah, I think it was Cartman. He
Was
got
it?
probed anally by aliens. That's one way to go if you're into that. But that doesn't help procreation, though. Just to remind you of how the anatomy works. It's different tabs for different slots.
All right. Different tabs for different slots. Again, I'm telling you, this is the #1 Bitcoin podcast content. Nobody else gives you this sort of information. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications, because otherwise I won't give you that sort of news. All right. Cathie Wood was in the news. She bought $20 million worth of Bitcoin during the dip, the little dip for ants. She came in, bought $20 million. She's got, she's a giga chad. She's up there with Michael Saylor, and buying every dip. We smash buy at swanbitcoin.com/orange pill. And perhaps we should do that during this live stream here.
Yeah, like I said, Cathie Wood's got titanium balls.
She does.
On those pullbacks, she pulls out the checkbook. It's got a whopper checkbook and writes the big fat checks.
So she's no pussy like all those other spinach hands, like selling their Bitcoin. Oh, I'm scared. I bought this at 50,000. Now I'm going to sell it at 30,000. That's a great tax write-off, but you know what? It's not the way to continue to hodl. There's another billionaire in the news today.
Talk to me.
This is another one that I've heard a lot about over the years since I first met Max over 18 years ago, and that's Carl Icahn. We're looking at cryptocurrency, he says, yet we haven't purchased any yet. However, cryptocurrencies are here to stay.
Right. So this goes back to our comments when Paul Tudor Jones started buying Bitcoin for his fund. He's an alpha fund manager. What he does, others then follow. And so he kicked off the race for hedge funds and private equity and big family offices. Now, I think Carl Icahn runs a big family office. He got out of managing other people's money. And so the dominoes are all going to fall. You got Stan Druckenmiller. You got just coming in on board now, Ray Dalio.
Max said that would happen. It did.
Predicted it because they have to be competitive with Paul Tudor Jones and other people in the industry. They can't sit back. Only Peter Schiff, for some reason, can say he's in the money management business, but refuse to compete in the money management business. So for 10 years now, he's had underperforming funds. His clients have all lost money in some of the worst investment ideas anyone's ever come up with in history. But he doubles down on that. And somehow, I don't know what his business model is. Losing people's money doesn't seem like a winner. But he still gets quoted by Zero Hedge. He still goes on these, the Paul Rogan show, or the Joe Rogan show, even though he's got probably the worst 10-year track record of anyone in America, maybe even in the world.
Right. Well, so somebody was pointing out that, of course, Carl Icahn, he's an activist investor, right? So he's that, the 80s period when you were on Wall Street.
Raider is what we used to call them.
They're now called activists, right?
Now
so it sounds activists. Like,
they rebranded themselves.
They pick daisies and they're like trying to help.
No, they're hippies from the 60s, and they're activists, and they're pushing for women's rights and world peace, and they're also corporate raiders and blackmailers and greenmailers.
Exactly. And there's no difference really between them and ESG sort of funds. And we're going to get to them, obviously, with Bitcoin Mining Council. So this ESG, and I don't even know what it stands for anymore. It used to be socially responsible investing.
SRI.
For some reason, they got rid of that. I'm not sure why, but whatever. They've rebranded as ESG, like environmental, social good sort of stuff.
No, we covered that. Just a little digression. All the scams get repackaged.
Yeah.
So this is a repackaging of social responsible investing, SRI, which was hot 15 to 20 years ago. Then they decided to bring it back, called ESG. It's the same scam, but a new label.
Same scam, new label. Hey, I was looking at those yellow glasses. Can I try those
purple.
on? No, the yellow ones are next to the
behind me?
Yeah, behind you.
You were pointing at my face. I thought
I was pointing over there. Even the audience can see it.
Oh.
Let's see. I want to see what they look like with this outfit.
Which one? These ones?
The yellow ones.
These
Yeah.
are yellow.
Yeah. Let me try
Okay.
them on. Let me see what they look like with this outfit. You tell me in the comments. Ow! Just poked my eye out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like when you said hippie, and I have this, I'm starting to look for all my summer stuff because not only is it like 90 something degrees here,
Yeah.
which I forget how much that is in Celsius. We have a lot of people from all those nations that do the temperature wrong.
It's 22 degrees Celsius.
Is it?
Maybe.
No, it's more than 22 degrees.
I know 50 is 104 degrees.
Yeah, so it's more like 30 something.
Okay.
It's like 32 or something, whatever
fair
today.
enough.
So, so Paul Krugman invited this alien invasion.
Yeah.
The Pentagon says it's here. Nobody even bothered paying attention. And again, like my theory is that governments will literally invite an alien invasion rather than fix the money. And I do think it has something to do with the the Bitcoin. Like the FUD is going hard and strong, and it's more and more embarrassing. Like they're really embarrassing themselves, worse than Elon Musk. Elon Musk will perhaps eventually become a genuine Bitcoiner. Right now, he's going through those early stages that many enter. Some are able to get Bitcoin, like Robert Breedlove. They can just like get it and become philosophers instantly.
Yeah.
Or they're like Elon Musk and they do dorky stuff for a few weeks or months or years. Who knows? But this dude right here, and this is something we pointed out at the time, right?
What's that?
This is Jeff Stein in the Washington Post, and he's quoting Jason Furman. If you don't know who Jason Furman is, he was on the Council of Economic Advisors. I keep on I guess it's all this. I only had like 2 sips of this rosé, but it's super hot here and super humid. So I'm like wobbling my head around, bouncing into things, dropping stuff. But Jason Furman was an advisor to Obama. And he says today in the Washington Post, I wish we had smothered this, i.e. Bitcoin, a decade ago before it grew into a $2 trillion monster. Digital currencies are all cons and no pros. Environment, crime, taking advantage of unaware investors. If they had any use at all, we could debate it. But they don't have any use at all. And I'm going to read one response to it that Alex Gladstein was retweeting, and that's from Thunderdome Time. Well, when my relatives had to flee Europe, he responded, in a panic, they took only what they could carry. They reached America with absolutely nothing. So pardon me, sir, but being able to store wealth in your mind is the definition of a use case.
Right. Well, what happened? See, Bitcoin is a super powerful cosmic magnet that pulls lies and dirt and filth to the surface. So this guy, what's his name?
Jason Furman.
Jason Furman. He's like a blackhead you have on your face. And the beautician has the ability and the skills to pull that blackhead out of your face, the dirt from your face. And so Bitcoin is like a blackhead extractor. So here's a stupid idiot at the Washington Post, the house rag for the nuts on DC Capitol. And it's the power of the protocol is such that whatever stupidity, ugliness, particularly ugliness, that the man has in his being, in his soul, gets brought to the surface. And it's so shockingly ugly. It's a horror film. So all these people with low self-esteem, bad characters, interior soul dirt, when they encounter Bitcoin, it all gets pulled to the surface and people see them for who they really are. And sometimes they freak out. Sometimes they double down on their psychosis. But it's this is the power now of Bitcoin as it's impacting writers, economists, thinkers, politicians, right? The ripples of the Bitcoin protocol, the magnetic effect of it, the internal force of what's happening within the protocol is changing individuals, societies, communities, corporations, nations, even aliens apparently are arriving, because they've been pulled.
Yeah,
They've been pulled in.
They finally came once we invented Bitcoin, right?
They came.
They weren't attracted to us when we had just gold, because they know gold can't be transported intergalactically. Like, you're not going to carry that, right?
No.
And plus, there's plenty of gold out in the
Tons,
galaxy and the
There's
universe.
whole planets of gold, like only 100 light years away.
Yeah, so these aliens have been searching for perhaps hundreds of thousands of years, if not billions, looking for hard money.
Yeah.
They pass by all these, objects in the universe created of diamonds, of gold, of all sorts of, like, all the other stuff that are...
It rains diamonds on Uranus.
It does, literally.
Yeah, it's raining diamonds on Uranus. Why would an alien bother to come to Earth and look for diamonds? Right? They can get all they want on Uranus.
Don't go too personal.
No.
We don't need anybody to know about the diamonds on Uranus.
If you go into the simulation, which of course is run by cats.
Yes,
that was proven by the internet, the existence of the internet.
Yeah.
We know the internet's run by cats, and therefore reality is run by cats.
Sure.
Then we know, therefore, that the aliens who are, let's face it, a quasi-representation of the creator, who some choose to call God.
Yeah.
Farmed out this sentient, drug-induced, drug-addled ape called human beings to find Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a discovery. It's not an invention.
No.
So in 2009, the drug-addled apes on planet Earth found Bitcoin, the first to do so in the entire multiverse. So now God has got a decision to make. We kind of like fulfilled our usefulness, so he's not sure whether to keep us around anymore.
Yeah, true.
And the aliens are coming in droves now because they want more Bitcoin.
Is that what, like, you were the one, you said Satoshi was an alien. You said that, like...
He came in through the SETI at Home project. So that's
what you said.
The SETI at Home project is back in the 90s when I was running the Hollywood Stock Exchange. I ran SETI at home on my laptop. So you are the search for extraterrestrial intelligence using a network computer system similar to the Bitcoin protocol to find sort through radio waves to find intelligence. Now, what nobody understood, I think I'm the only one that really picked up on this, is that it's not so much searching about radio waves and out in the galaxy, out in the multiverse, but it's about what slipped in unnoticed onto those hard drives. And that was the white paper notions that became the white paper, the source code. What became the source code of Bitcoin was essentially stashed into the network, the various computer networks around the world, and it enlightened folks, the cypherpunks who have been at their desktop typing away, coding, dinga.
Yeah.
Right. They discovered finally Bitcoin, and now it's come to life. So this is there was the Big Bang, where approximately 13.8 billion years ago, and then there was Bitcoin. So those are the two bookends that distinguish the cosmic reality. So we're at the end now. We had the Big Bang, and now we have Bitcoin, the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. So we're at the end now. So now we're in a post reality world here, and you can just look at the news and you can tell everything is disintegrating in real time. Up is down, black is white, the sky is nowhere to be found. Zebras are fucking cats. It's all about kind of a total breakdown, which is fine as long as you have Bitcoin.
Hash cash than Bitcoin. Somebody said in the comments that I saw pubic hair. People, I saw pubic hair. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the beginning.
That's the Big Bang.
That's the beginning of a Big Bang. First, you see the pubic hair, and that's generally what would be considered foreplay.
Oh yeah, of course. These geeks online probably don't know what that is.
I saw pubic hair.
What is this?
What's pubic hair? I didn't know the genitalia had hair. I'm a geek. I've been living in my basement for 30 years, and I've never had a healthy diet, so I've never actually grown pubic hair myself. And when I see it, I'm curious about it. That's what it is, my friend, is pubic hair. Now that means you're getting close. You're over the target, right? The bombs are ready to be released. Ding, 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 ding. And then the mommy Bitcoin and the daddy Bitcoin, they come together on the protocol, and then 10 minutes later, they're baby Bitcoin. That's where Bitcoin comes from.
Oh my God. He's my cousin, I guess. My aunt and uncle had this kid who, just he lives online. He lives in the basement, like one of the people we mock online.
Yeah.
And he's just like has all these computer screens.
Yeah.
I remember we went down into his basement area and looked, and I just came upstairs. I was like to my aunt and uncle, and he was like, so my cousin, he was like, oh, I guess he was about 18, 19 at that time. I was like, you guys are so going to be surrounded by SWAT one day. You just know it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's going to hack into some NSA sort of facility. And his uncle was like, yeah, I know. We're waiting for it.
SWAT's at the door.
Where did my son hack this time?
Terrible.
Right. So.
Yeah.
Hey, I've started to transition.
Oh dear.
Yeah. I no longer identify Generation X. I've decided to identify as Boomer for real. I'm transitioning to it, and I just feel like, Generation X had their day. There was a brief period before the millennials, started to get like, adult-like after 16 or so. Yeah. So, we had our brief moment in the sun. Like we had Kurt Cobain, we had Slackers and Office Space and stuff like that. But then nobody ever even thinks of us. Like we get skipped over every headline, every bailout, every stimulus package. They just like ignore us. So I feel like, if I would prefer to identify millennial, but I just feel like that would be, they might knife me or like shank me in the millennial schoolyard.
Right.
Because, people don't like you going younger, but I identify Boomer now.
Well, welcome to the Boomer generation.
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy it here in the Boomers.
So I'm going to start. I haven't had a chance because we're getting ready for Miami. I haven't had a chance to go to the ABC liquor store. Here in North Carolina, you got to go to the ABC state-owned liquor store to get liquor. But I'm going to start drinking Grasshoppers.
Yeah, right. And Harvey Wallbangers.
White Russians. Those were the drinks of the 70s.
Yeah.
And I remembered, I was like thinking of like while I was transitioning to Boomer, I started to remember like when I was a Gen X person in my previous incarnation before the transition, when I was Gen X and I was like a child of a Boomer, like being in the bar and when kids could go into bars, like we would sit in the bar with my mom and my stepfather, and we would be, I can remember so clearly her grasshopper drinks because they're bright green, just like the microdosing, the Bitcoin mining council there, like that thing. It was super bright green, and I really wanted it. Like it looked so cool. But, and then, those were also the days my stepfather had a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And they would drive home drunk, like with me and my two sisters in the back of the pickup truck, which you're not allowed to do anymore.
No, the good times are over.
Like that's part of the reason why I couldn't really transition to a millennial, because millennials are too coddled, right? Nobody does that to them. And like their parents don't throw them in the back of the
No. They're all swathed up and coddled and seat belted and oxygen tubed and whatever. It's not the same kind of freewheeling Boomer existence that now I can say we, but that I grew up in.
Stacy will always be Gen X to me.
Now they're nostalgic about your Gen X days. They totally forgot about it. They never knew it. They never mentioned it. The second you said I'm abandoning it, they're like, oh my God, I'm so nostalgic for the day Stacy was a Gen X person. Remember when Stacy said this about Gen X? Stacy, the Gen X idol. Gen X is the best. We're going to hear nothing but Gen X now from here to eternity. The second you turn your back and say, you know what? No one's ever paid any attention to this thing. I'm getting out. Suddenly now it's the thing to do.
Gen X are the honey badger of generations.
Yeah, here we go. All the adulation and the tributes are pouring in for the Gen X people that have just been cut loose.
My parents would drink beer in the car on the way to dinner when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's not the thing to do anymore. Things have changed.
Things have changed. Of course, you sat in the back seat of your parents' car, right, without a seatbelt on, right?
Yeah, seatbelts were a new thing. They came around, and first you had just the belt for the waist, and it wasn't until the 3-point system came in later. But I remember distinctly my dad was against seatbelts, claiming that if there's ever a problem, he can just put his arm out and save whoever was in the passenger seat from
Yeah.
flying through the windshield. That was the go-to thought of the day. Like, that's no problem. I just put my arm in here. You won't sail through the windshield. Everything's great.
A lot of people are talking about the pink squirrel. Was their mom's 70s drink?
Pink squirrel.
Don't know what that one is.
I don't know the pink squirrel.
Sounds good. Unless it's like some sort, you're making me say some rude slang. Like Max when he said bukkake.
Or like pink taco.
Pink taco.
The pink taco restaurant chain in Los Angeles.
Stacy says that her parents ran a strip club in Newark, which is code for mafia. Right? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Strip clubs in Newark, that's very Tony Soprano.
That's Tony Soprano. Yeah. Actually, somebody just got whacked out front of the strip club of the Tony Soprano.
No kidding.
Literally in the last week. Yeah.
Wow. That's really 70s like. New York's gone feral.
70s are coming back. Max and I keep on talking about this, and we send each other messages like we're sitting here on our phone and we just text each other.
Totally.
And he's always texting me messages showing that the 70s are back.
Absolutely, in New York.
But with way more regulations. Like the 70s didn't have many regulations at all in the US. Like
nobody observed them. Nobody paid any attention to them. The regulations are there, but nobody pays any attention to them.
Like there were regulations against stabbing people, but everybody did it in Manhattan, right? It was just like a thing.
There's only one thing to remember about New York. Living in New York, you just got to know one phrase. Fuck me. No, fuck you. As long as you know that and can carry that off in any situation, like, I'm sorry, sir, but we don't have change for a $20 bill. Fuck me. No, fuck you. You see, it works in any situation.
Okay. Now, what everybody's been waiting for.
What?
People are saying that I sound awfully boomerish. See, I've transitioned. I tell you, I transitioned in my mind. I started smoking like Parliament cigarettes. I started drinking green grasshopper drinks, White Russians, like all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, go for it. That's the way to be. The 70s, bell bottoms. That's kind of more 60s though. I got a powder blue leisure suit to celebrate the 70s. Gonna rock the powder blue leisure suit and see where that goes.
I don't know why that made me think of Floyd Mayweather, but I want to say, like, at Bitcoin 2021, I'm going to be introducing him onto stage. So,
oh wow, cool.
I thought, he's the sort of guy that could carry off a blue, like one of these suits, a leisure suit. Like that.
Nobody fucks with him. He could be wearing, a G-string printed with, nobody fucks with Floyd, whatever his name. He's a big puncher.
He's yeah, you don't want to punch
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, nobody fucks with him. He's got a big punch.
He's got a big punch for a little guy, right? Like I was reading to see if, like, should I challenge him? Like, that's the thing to do. This is what YouTubers do, like Logan Paul or Paul Logan, whatever that guy's name is. And I was like, well, like I'm an inch taller than he is.
All right. Yeah, he's a short guy.
And he's like 25 pounds more than I am. But all things being equal, remember all our genders are equal, right? Like,
yeah.
Theoretically, I should be able to take him on. Like, we're an equal match. But...
yeah, theoretically, yeah. You could beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. Theoretically, that could be the case. Yeah.
If he's 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is Wikipedia says.
Yeah.
And of course, those sort of boxers like measure to a half an ounce. Like,
so he's not a heavyweight fighter then.
No.
What does he fight? Flyweight?
Lightweight, flyweight.
Lightweight. Yeah, he's a lightweight. I could probably beat him. I mean, I weigh more. I could probably hit him with the right punch. I'd knock him out because he's a flyweight. These guys he's got lettuce hands. He's
Oh my
what's
god.
he doing at a Bitcoin
Oh
conference?
my
He's got
god.
lettuce hands. He's like a
Oh
shrimp,
shit.
150 pounds
Don't
shrimp.
tweet this shit at him, okay? Because I don't want Max to be beaten up on the first day. Like,
It's great. It's like, okay, it's fun watching lightweights, throw feathers at each other, but he doesn't have the big punch like me.
you were born on the night of a lightweight
No, it was a
championship.
heavyweight boxing match.
No, it wasn't.
Floyd Patterson. He's a heavyweight boxer.
No, it wasn't Floyd Patterson.
Sugar Ray.
It was Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Robinson.
He's like medium weight or lightweight.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's considered one of the greatest boxers. But
yeah. My dad wanted to see the fight, so my mom, I think her water broke.
She had to hold you in for a few hours.
No, the best story is that my eldest sister was born on a Marine base camp.
Yeah.
Because my dad, who was a drill instructor at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, put her in the Marine parade in this parade to force labor to qualify for something that you would qualify for if you had a child.
So you didn't have to go. He didn't have to go to Korea.
Something you get something was up. So he forced labor on my mom, and so my sister's birth certificate says she was born in Camp Lejeune in North Carolina. So that's I bring Marine toughness.
That's hardcore.
The Floyd Mayweather fight. Okay, that's tough. He's just a coddled, privileged guy who's he trains on milk and toast and whatnot.
He should have diamond hands though,
he's
right?
Not tough. He's not a tough guy. Like Marines are tough. I'm tough. And all I need is one good punch, and he's on the canvas. That's it.
Well, some boxers have glass jaws.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that he does. He certainly has a pretty face, right? He doesn't look like he's been hit in the face too often. So it's like no. Maybe he's fast enough. I don't know.
No. I think he's fast because he's afraid. He likes to hide in the corners and run. That's why he's got a pretty face. He's never been hit. Give me 3 rounds with him, and I'll show him, a few punches, and he won't come out so pretty anymore.
Somebody's, of course, mentioning, speaking of being a boomer now, the 70s, and the 70s float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I remember that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a heavyweight for you, Muhammad Ali, and just a legendary career and a legendary boxer, and what a great movie that was made.
Oh, yeah.
When We Were Kings.
Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah, the Rumble in the Jungle, and legendary fight with guy I forget his name quite often.
Joe Frazier.
No. Jeff Frazier fight was a different fight. This is he went on to sell grills for hamburger grills.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
He seems so young compared to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, he was. Well, Muhammad Ali was at the end of his career. I can't remember his name. What's the comments say?
Oh yeah.
I always think Ken Norton, but I know that's not Ken Norton.
No, the what's the grill?
Yeah, the grill. Out with the grease and in with the no grease.
Somebody will tell us in a few moments. Joe Frazier. No, I'm gonna beat. This may shock and amaze you, but I'm gonna beat Joe Frazier. Yeah, I like the way Foreman, George Foreman.
Yeah, George Foreman. So it's an awesome film that they made, When We Were Kings, and it has Norman Mailer is in there, and which is interesting. He's an interesting figure in American literature, and also the guy who wrote Paper Tiger about his he played for the Detroit Tigers briefly, and he was the editor of the Paris Review. Can't remember his name either.
We're boomers, right?
Yeah, we're boomers, forget. So we don't really remember anything. He's a very interesting fellow. That's very 70s. Norman Mailer is a very 70s character. He ran for mayor of New York City.
Really?
He was, supposed to be, inherit the mantle of America's greatest novelist from Ernest Hemingway, and he really played that to the hilt. He really was very gregarious and very verbose, I'll say. He did a lot of television. Whereas the Ken Burns documentary on Hemingway, which we just watched, it's 2 or 3 part. I think it's a 3-part documentary series. One of the most interesting aspects of that whole thing was that they have some rare TV footage of Ernest Hemingway being interviewed, and he's absolutely horrible. He had
Oh
to
my
had to
God.
use cue cards for the answers. He insisted that all the answers be known in advance and that he
Yeah.
could write his answers on cue cards. And when he reads the cue cards, he includes the punctuation. So
Yeah.
he'll say, "So, Mr. Hemingway, what's it like being a big game fisher?" It's like, "It's very nice to be on the open water fishing for great fish, period."
Yeah, he did this on the evening news.
Yeah, yeah. And he's adding the punctuation. And the guy interviewing him was like, "Well, I don't want to interrupt the greatest American novelist ever, but he sounds like a freaking idiot."
That was actually it. You're right. That is like the thing that's most worth watching, that Hemingway documentary from Ken Burns,
Yeah.
is that moment, because you can't believe like this greatest, one of the greatest American novelists of all time. So it's just like, yes, I am super happy to be accepting this prize, this Pulitzer Prize, full stop. Now you're like, oh my God, like how is he doing this? Like how can he speak? How can his characters speak like they do? And then he speaks like this. But the other two things that were really interesting was, when he, the first thing he had published, and he sent it to his parents, and his parents wrote back to him, and the letter, they're like, "How can you write this filth? You're embarrassing us. Please stop this."
Yeah. There was a scene in there where there's like sex or something. Sex is happening, and that was pretty shocking at that time.
Yeah.
And the most shocking scene of the whole thing, though, is when he's riding into Paris as part of the liberation of Paris.
Yeah.
So, he had covered he was a participant in World War I, and then he covered the Spanish occupation, right? The
fascist overtake, the Civil War.
Civil War, and then he's going to go to cover. He was married to one of the best war correspondents ever, a woman who had flown ahead and had talked her way into the D-Day landing, I think, or was part of the D-Day landing, and then he got part of also in part of the D-Day landing. Then because he had such a broad service record, he knew a lot of people in the military, so he talked himself onto a tank, essentially grabbed a gun, put on a uniform, and was on the front line shooting and killing people. This is after he had published several books, and he was considered to be the greatest novelist ever. He's out there back in the front line killing people in tanks and liberating Paris. And his books, of course, were known in Paris ahead of time because they took place in Paris and they were celebrated in Paris. And he arrives and he's liberating Paris, and people are like, "Look, Ernest Hemingway is liberating us." That's an incredible confluence of lots of going on. That's a cosmic moment right there, which you watching this, this is the most incredible moment. You can't, to fictionalize this moment, you would never do justice to it. It's just really incredible.
Yeah, it's worth watching just to see like how the generations before us used to be able to live just freely.
Yeah, it's total freedom. I mean, imagine today, Anderson Cooper covering, like when we covered the riots in Athens, the CNBC people were up on the very top floor of a hotel wearing gas masks and behind barricades. We were on the ground actually, and all that smoke from the tear gas is like billowing everywhere. We put that chalk on our face and bandanas, and we're trying to cover it, as a frontline financial reporter.
Also, when Mubarak was overthrown, we were the only, like all at CNN, everybody had left. Partly because you could see like the Hilton Hotel right over not Tahrir Square, was it?
Yeah.
And that hotel was burned down.
So the smoke and acrid smell of revolution was thick in the air, and we're wandering around in the middle of a million Arabs, young men primarily, who had just been liberated, and we're like, "Hey, how's it going, you guys? What's it feel like to be free?"
But coming right up to us,
and
saying, "Are you from America? Are you Americans?" And we were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "We love Americans. We hate your government."
Yeah.
Just so you know, they hate our government in Egypt. Right. So I guess we must mention the Bitcoin Mining Council because everybody was up in arms about this thing. And this is Michael Saylor hosted some sort of phone call between Elon Musk and a bunch of Bitcoin miners in North America. So people are saying, like, comparing it to the New York Agreement and that sort of era from, pre the 2017 fork wars. And on the other hand, it was it wasn't like proposing, like the New York Agreement was like proposing radical changes to actually the Bitcoin core, right, to the code.
Yeah.
So this wasn't proposing any changes. This is basically, on the one hand, like a lot of newbies, and Michael Saylor is new, so is Elon Musk, to Bitcoin. They have a huge quantity of Bitcoin. They have shareholders, and the whole US shareholder market, is infested with this ESG. That's why even the likes of Carl Icahn rebrand themselves as we're activists, because
Yeah.
it's such a nice word. Everybody loves activists. Ooh, they're so cute and cuddly and they're saving the world, right? So, you know, many like NVK, Rodolfo, I saw him tweet. I actually printed it out, but I forgot to pick it up off the printer. And I'm not going to go back to the printer. But what NVK said was something along the line, like, this is super dumb, but it's the way you have to talk to these stupid ESG investors who want to hear bullshit, even if it's just like a cuddly bear, polar bear on the front cover of your prospectus, to pretend like they don't actually need any action. They just need some words.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, my theory is also like everybody gets nervous and concern trolled and they get overwhelmed by the negativity. And, this was Michael Saylor's first 50% crash in Bitcoin. As you mentioned at the top of the show, we've been through 15 of them. So, we're already like battle hardened. And so, we've been through, like, we're like a Viking at this point. Like, we've already been through this like a few times, maybe like at whatever, we're heading to Valhalla. So
Mm.
we're like relaxed about it. But, maybe Michael Saylor was nervous, and like is a huge part of his company's wealth, their treasury is stored in Bitcoin, and maybe he felt he had to do this stuff. But I just feel like knowing Bitcoin is just like you let all the marketing be done, that sort of stuff be done by the meme artist and the cyber hornets. Just let them do their job. They like puncture the global consciousness with an image, like just a really cool Bitcoin image that's like Honey Badger don't care.
Yeah. This is a job for the cyber hornets.
Yes.
I was trying to imagine what this conference call was like. And, I had this image where it was a bunch of miners on this conference call with Elon and his mom, right? And his mom is there like, okay, can you explain to Elon again how Bitcoin works? Because he keeps tweeting these things and getting a lot of shit posting. They're like, okay. You see, Elon, the mommy Bitcoiner, gets together with the daddy Bitcoiner, and 10 minutes later, they're baby Bitcoiners. Baby Bitcoin. And he's like, but the daddy put the thing in the mom. What? And Elon's mom is there like, it's okay, son. It's okay. Don't be afraid. This is how it works. And then after an hour or so, he's shit posting again, saying he put some insane image like an international harvester tractor was mowing down edible gummy bears. Like, where's this coming from? How fucked up is this
He's
guy?
obviously watching our show, because
is he off his meds? What's going on with this guy?
We talked about the edible gummies, the whatever that thing is that made me climb up the wall.
Yeah.
Like maybe he is watching this. So Elon
Right.
Musk,
Well, okay. So it's a nice gesture to try to talk this guy down from a bad trip on gummy bears. But what's it got to do with mining? Nothing.
Delta 8. That's what it is.
Does it usurp the role of the cyber hornets? No. They do a good job telling all the people trying to co-opt Bitcoin to go fuck themselves. And what's the future of all this? Is it the New York Agreement Part 2? No. As you point out, that was actually more substantive. And it proved that the nodes or the cyber hornets are king, and there's no way you're going to change the protocol. And I tweeted today, Max Kaiser, in response to this idea that, well, the reason why we're doing this is because we want to help create or shape the narrative around Bitcoin in the media, right? And some shitcoins have done that, right? So Bitcoin Cash
Yeah.
owns a fake media company at Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin Satoshi Vision owns a fake media outlet called CoinGeek, I think it's called. XRP is got fake media out there. All these shitcoins like Cardano, they hire thousands of shills and shit posters on Twitter to do shit posting. So the bottom line is, and the lesson is this, and I tell this to you folks out of having a decade's experience: if you want to shape the media narrative, either create or buy a media company. All right. Other than that, just don't touch it and let the cyber hornets take care of things.
Yeah, you got to let because there's no appeasing ESG, right? There's no way you can stop. Like they'll always come up with a new metric. So look at in California. This just got knocked back because of so much pressure, but they're introducing this notion called the pathway to equitable math.
What?
Okay, Bitcoin is of course based on math, right? And math is truth, right? Math is like you can't fake it, right? Well, except for if you're in California and you're an ESG sort of investor economy. Well, so they want to first of all they did cut advanced math because well, too many Asians were essentially like occupying all the advanced math classes. But they called it white supremacy. I don't know why, but they called it white supremacy. And they said, we're going to get rid of advanced math because it's making too many other people feel bad about themselves. And they said that the math teachers, with the pathway to equitable math, was they were telling them that they were focusing on the right answer. And focusing on the right answer is white supremacy.
Right.
So 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily need to equal 2.
No, 1 + 1 doesn't mean that the integers are menstruating.
But I mean, read George Orwell. Speaking of Ernest Hemingway, back from the day he was George Orwell also was there fighting with the fascist, against the fascists in Spain. So he wrote about totalitarianism. This is totalitarianism. Yeah. Just rewriting truths into
right. Well, it's postmodernism. So in Jimmy Song, I get his newsletter every Monday, and he wrote about shitcoins in an era of postmodernism, which he defines essentially as absolute relativism. So the way that you're going to rewrite mathematics is to eliminate the equal sign. So nothing will equal anything. 2 + 2 won't equal 4 as a mathematical empirical truth. It'll be 2 + 2 equals something that we're not sure what it equals, but we at the central planning unit of the central educators connected to the central bank will tell you what that means, and it'll change all the time. And if you pledge allegiance to us in our centrally ideologically cooked up neo-fascism, then you get a gold star, which entitles you to a protein pill, and you get to live another 12 hours. But if you try to tell us that there's an absolute truth to the underlying cosmic fabric of reality that based on mathematics, then you're going to be excommunicated and probably put to a re-education camp. So that's coming to America. Why? Because of the money. The money is complete and utter shit. And so it creates a leadership of shit for brains, and it creates bankers who are outright crooks. It creates politicians. They're trying to ban insider trading in Washington, right? They should not let senators and congresspeople trade out inside information based on the laws that they're cooking up in Washington, D.C. to benefit from the inside information that they themselves would be the primary beneficiary of. That shouldn't be the case. There shouldn't be stock buybacks. There shouldn't be all kinds of stuff. But it's all now being reconfigured to appeal to the lowest common denominator, which in this case would be a drug-addled, kind of math-denying, frickin' politician who's got no skills whatsoever. They can't do sports. They can't do art. They can't do math. They're complete useless blobs of fecal matter that are parasites like Jamie Dimon on the system. So the only thing getting in the way from them getting yet another free helping of mashed potatoes with their gravy is going to be this nasty thing called math. We got to get rid of math. Or they won't get my gravy. Right? So it's pathetic. And it's going to lead to the end of this country. But we have Bitcoin, so, fuck you.
I'm going to play some PopCap music and look at the comments and smash that freaking like button, okay, mofos, okay? If you want me to be part of your generation, because I am open, I'm not fully transitioned yet to boomer. I like the grasshoppers. Like, why would I want to convert to being a millennial transition?
Come on over to the boomer generation.
I could be Gen Z. Pitch me in the comments and make sure you smash that like. I'm going to take a sip of my rosé, which I have to say is very Gen X. Like, that's still, I think it's very Gen X to be drinking rosé.
Yeah. You need a double shot of Jack and Coke.
Right. And I'm going to read some of these comments.
All right. Well, I'm going to top up my iced coffee.
Okay. Max is going to get some coffee. I'm going to read your comments. You're going to smash the like button. Get rid of math, the great equalizer, and leads to outlawing Bitcoin. Millennials. Smash for the Renaissance. Yes! Bitcoin Deeb, you are right. Bitcoin Deeb knows what she's talking about. Smash for the Renaissance. It's done. Grasshoppers are boomer? Yes, grasshoppers were huge in the 70s, dude. You had to be old enough to drink in the 70s. In order to be able to drink in the 70s, you had to be a boomer or above. Why is it named Council? Oh, the music's done. The music's done. We're back on me. Solamente yo. I. Me. Right. So, yeah, why did it call it Council? Well, that's what I'm assuming is, so the number one.
It wasn't a council.
It's a Bitcoin mining council.
It wasn't a council.
Okay, wait. So what I want to say is Michael Saylor is a CEO of a publicly listed company, right? So he has actual legal responsibilities and obligations to his shareholders.
Yeah.
So he's converted in this, he's the first of these guys, corporate guys, to convert their treasury, not just a little bit, but significantly to Bitcoin. So he's got to answer to shareholders. If shareholders complain to the SEC and stuff like that, he's got to respond to that, right?
Yeah, he's got a fiduciary responsibility to go through a lot of hoops as CEO of a publicly listed company. He's been around for more than 20 years. He's got started in the dot-com era. The longest serving tech CEO in America is Michael Saylor. That's had that CEO role. So he knows as a CEO what he's doing. And so the ESG FUD for a CEO of a publicly listed company, it's going to impact them differently. Yes. than how it might impact other people. But I don't think that a council is not it's more of an intervention, right? If you know people that are alcoholics or drug addicts, sometimes their friends will get together with an intervention and they'll say, hey, dude, you need to go to rehab, right? So here's Elon flipping out again, tweeting like a manic, psychotic weirdo, shit that makes no sense, buying shit coins. And so his friends are like, hey, we got to stage an intervention. We'll call it a council or something that sounds enticing. We got to trick him into coming to this thing. We don't want him to know really what it's all about. But once it started, it's like, Elon, man, you need to put down the drugs. Whatever it is you're doing, you need to put them, move on, go to rehab. Or get right with Satoshi. Those are your two choices. You need to get right with Satoshi, Elon. And he's like, yeah, but you don't understand. Doge is, blah, blah, blah. It's just a poor guy who's addicted to shit coins.
Well, I do have to say, okay, this was pretty weird, right? So I'll tell you about my stepfather. My stepfather has been my stepfather since I was like 6 or 7 years old. The guy does not know how to use the internet so badly that I did help him create an email address about 4 years ago. And as a consequence, every 2 to 3 weeks, every single 2 to 3 weeks for the maybe 4 weeks for the past 4 years, I get an alert to my email, which is the backup of his email, to say that the password has been reset, because for 4 years he could not figure out what his freaking password is. Every single time he logs on, it is just like an absurdity.
He's a legend.
It's like constant alert. He also did. I set him up with a Facebook account, and he does this thing where like he figured out how to comment on like one of my the cousin in the in the basement. He would comment on the Facebook post. Yeah, great. This is awesome. Because it was in his thread, so he thought it was to him. Like the message was to him. The post was to him. And then my cousin's friends would respond to the post and say, hey, great setup you have there in your basement. And my stepfather would respond to that comment saying, yeah, who is this? Like on my cousin's Facebook page. Like this is how dumb he is on the internet. So he called me like 2 days ago and said, so what's this going on with Bitcoin using all this energy or something? I'm like, oh my God. Like, what the hell? How did it jump out of the internet and into his brain where he's not even able to log on to to his Gmail or email account without...
Right. The only media that he looks at consistently is that radar on the boat that tracks fish.
Yes, the radar on the boat and John Wayne films. That's all he does.
That's it, right? So suddenly he's like, oh, Bitcoin uses a lot of energy.
I literally
like
fell over.
I
fell on the ground.
Living room and saying, oh, did you know on planet XYZ that your show is quite popular?
I literally had no idea what to say. Like I was
I think that's what got these people in Bitcoin alarmed, is that the FUD, the energy FUD, because they're newbies, right?
They're newbies.
Elon and Michael, they're kind of newbies, and they don't know really. When this FUD appeared, they got a little freaked out about it, and they don't understand that it doesn't really matter. The Bitcoin vector is not stoppable. It's on its own unique vector. Satoshi knows the path, and everyone needs to just get right with Satoshi. And there's no narrative is ever going to be warped or shaped or changed. And, as it gets more prominent in the world, you're going to get state actors, you're going to get countries and central banks, and the level of jackass is going to be higher up in the feeding pig on the trough, right? The Davos trough that attracts pretty soon Henry Kissinger is going to come out and have a comment about Bitcoin and why it's not since the Viet Cong have we seen anything as dangerous as Bitcoin, and that'll shut off another whole cycle of stupid FUD, but it doesn't change a goddamn thing on the vector. No. Bitcoin is a vector. It's heading on its own path. And it's making contact with the aliens, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it.
Well, the only thing that I think that could be more amusing is if we do put my stepfather on Bitcoin Twitter. Like, he'll just respond like, yeah, so big deal. Like, this is his response to everybody. We actually had to delete his Facebook account because he was just like, didn't know how to use it. It was just like...
Well, he just doesn't want to get involved in that Facebook trivial nonsense,
He didn't know how to turn off notifications. He kept getting notifications. And so he thought it was like coming to his phone and like somebody was direct messaging him. Yeah, so who are you? That's when we deleted him. He was like, who are you?
Yeah, well, anyway, it's a good point though, that somebody who's couldn't be further away from this particular item is getting somehow triggered by it.
Why don't we do that? Like, I'm gonna set him up with a Twitter account and just have him receive any notifications from Elon Musk when he tweets, and he could just, yeah, who are you?
Who are you?
Why are you tweeting this at me?
Yeah.
And it would be genuine.
Yeah, that could help cure Elon of his self-obsession.
Oh my God. Actually, yeah. Who is this? I swear, Yellow, this is what he did. Like, it was just so funny to be on Facebook for those few weeks where he was allowed on there, and then he wreaked such havoc. But anyway, this is the same guy that came to me and said, like, what's going on with this
Yeah.
Bitcoin energy stuff.
Right.
So the FUD is so deep that it could even reach somebody off the internet.
Right. So that's what's scary. That's what scared these guys at the companies of these publicly listed companies. You know, the pervasiveness of the misinformation was startling to them. So they kind of got way off the track.
That's right. So guess what? It's like 3:05
Yeah.
Eastern time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start to. Somebody's Doug 209. Why is your cringe in my timeline?
Yeah. Why, Doug 239?
I might do this. I am now picturing him on Twitter, and it just could be funny, like because it's real. It's actually real. Like, this is the real.
This is the real. This is reality.
This is how real people are off Twitter and stuff. So. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up. We'll wrap up when we get to 1,000 thumbs up. Right now we're at 829. We have 1,341 people watching, and once we're not gonna hang up, we're just gonna keep going. Max might do a pole dance. I might do a pole dance. I'm gonna be introducing at Bitcoin 2021. I'll be introducing Floyd Mayweather. That's gonna be fun. And also Cynthia Lummis. So I'm excited about that. And of course, Max and I will be there with camera crew, audio engineer, filming. I'll have my mojito, my cubano. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna break my keto and have a cubano. So
Lovely.
I'm super happy about that. We're of course gonna do another live stream, as I told you on the last full dose. We're gonna do another live stream. So I guess it's a microdose. A full dose of a microdose. Maybe we'll go on for an hour and a half on Sunday at 2 p.m. That will save me some editing time, and also time this week as we're like pre-recording some stuff for Kaiser Report, and also packing. I gotta wash all my clothes. Like, I'm gonna bring this. I might wear this on stage for my Floyd Mayweather thing. But we'll see. Senator Laser Eyes. Yeah. I'm going to introduce her on stage. Mofo's Leon Spinks. Leon Spinks. Oh, yeah. That's somebody from the 70s as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting that, Miami is a totally different vibe from Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles is Mexican food, margaritas, like a more Mexican vibe, whereas Miami is a Cuban vibe.
Yeah. That's fair enough. The Cuban vibe in Miami is strong ever since Tony Montana,
except for all the taxi drivers are Haitian, and that's the one. Like, they kind of, the Haitians all keep to themselves. So it's not spread out like the whole Cuban thing. Like, it's like it's like a jarring, right? You feel like it's Latino sort of vibe, and then you're in a car and the Haitian, the French radio is on in the taxi.
Yeah, exactly. French radio, French Haitians. Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's always fun to speak French with the Haitian taxi drivers.
Max likes that, and I like the way they look at you in the rearview mirror, like you're some crazy honky.
That's right. They've never heard French like that before.
No, the same way everybody looks at you,
like, what?
Whether in Paris or you, Stacy, are living the dream. No, you, Stacy, are Stacy. She calls herself Stacy.
She's a Russian.
She's in the Telegram group. So make sure. Oh, by the way, we are 95,600 subscribers on our youtube.com/orangepill YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get to 100,000 before we go to Miami, because we want to hit 100,000 before we land on stage. You got to be big time, right? Big time. We want big numbers. We want 6 digits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Once we get to 100,000 followers, subscribers, then we're going to get to $100,000 Bitcoin.
Definitely. Those two go together.
I'm like one of those Viking seers. Like, I can see it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I definitely see it. I think I see the premium on GBTC Bitcoin, like the discount got to really bad, under
It got to 21%.
21%. Now it's like 2%. Yeah, so that tells me a lot of forced sellers are out of the market. So I think that's a good sign. I'm looking at that as a good sign, because I think they're going to start to see a premium again on GBTC, and because the selling's over.
Buyers are here.
You know,
Buyers
the
are back
buyers
in
are
town.
here, and the base of the buyers is wider, deeper, and so like I said, it's on a vector. You just got to stack sats, and
People are hoping. Well, I don't know if you saw, but I promised that I threatened that if we did not get to 100,000
yeah,
by Bitcoin 2021 on June 4th,
yeah,
that you would wear a Bitcoin thong on stage.
yeah,
So
yeah, definitely, yeah.
some people are withholding their subscription in order to
Yeah, yeah.
wait for that.
Well, I just in case I got a nice waxing job on my back, sack, and crack.
That's gross.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to make sure I get up to date on my waxing.
There are some French people in the audience. They're French Parisians. Like,
Oui, bien sûr.
the thing about
Oui,
France,
c'est vrai.
the thing about France, like we've talked about how like a lot, like the Japanese people who go there to go shopping and they have a nervous breakdown because how rude they are in the retail shop.
Yeah, yeah.
They are really rude. And the thing about the Parisians, which I found because we lived in the south of France and then we moved to Paris, is like literally everybody hates Parisians, even the Parisians, but especially outside of Paris. Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
they hate, like, more than Americans like hate New Yorkers, right? Like, French people hate Parisians. Like, they would rather have like a lunch with a British person than with a Parisian.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have the Parisians have the license plate ends in 06. And so you can spot them on the highway there, and there's hatred. There's like, oh, Parisiens sont moches, canard, putain. They just hate the Parisians for being snobby cunts.
Yeah, but the Parisians hate each other more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, they hate each other a lot. Yeah,
like they hate Parisians hate Parisians.
yeah. No,
So
people
like,
think Parisians, like Americans, are rude to Americans, but that's them being nice.
no, so it's worse. Like, remember how Max was like telling you how to be a New Yorker? Fuck me, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, that's like Paris, right? But even worse. Like, they pretend to have a mental breakdown and like, I'm gonna sue you because I have a mental breakdown for the fact that I had to speak to you, and why are you doing this to me? Everything is like a drama.
No, it's that the Parisians, the phrase that is distinguishes them would be no, no, no. C'est interdit, monsieur. C'est interdit. No,
It's
no.
true.
And then a minute later, ah oui, c'est vrai, c'est bon, pas
Yeah.
difficile. Oh, désolé, j'ai une crise de foie. J'ai une crise de foie. C'est le problème, monsieur. Désolé. No problem. Ça marche? Right? That happens in the space of 2 minutes.
They have. I think it's like that. They do believe, like, they have a thing about asterisks, but also about Descartes, right? Like, this is part of their culture and their character. So they like to say, like, question everything, like, even if it's just a stupid thing of like, can I have a coffee at the coffee shop? And like, no, c'est impossible.
No.
And then you have to debate them and argue like why you should have a coffee at the coffee shop, because it's on the menu and you ordered it and you want it and there's a coffee machine there and you see the coffee grinds and you see it, and like, oh, okay, wait, up. I'll bring it up.
Wait,
Like,
no
okay.
problem.
But like, it's so exhausting after a few. Like,
It's completely exhausting.
That's why they all have the crise, right? They have the crises because
Wait, they have a crisis of the liver. The crise de foie. I have a crisis of the liver. It's like if you work at a French company and you don't show up for 4 days, and then finally show up, and they're like, "Oh, Jacques, where were you all week? We didn't know what happened. I had a crisis of my liver." Oh, okay, no problem. Well, your mail is on your desk, and hope that gets better. Oh, thanks.
So it's exhausting. That's part of the reason why we left after a while. Like we just needed a break from the Parisians. But yeah, I'm kind of ready to go back.
Yeah,
right?
I can go back. For the first 2 weeks in Paris are sublime.
Mm.
And then by the third week, the Parisian way, starts to sneak in, and you start to feel that Parisian kind of angst, kind of nibble at the edges. But 2 weeks, but New York's similar. 2 weeks in New York is fantastic, and then by the third week, you're like, wait a minute, I need some air.
I like how rude they're. Apparently, the Parisians in particular are very, very rude to French Canadians. They don't like the way they speak French.
The Quebecois.
Yeah, they don't like the way they speak French. Glenn was telling me that I think it was Glenn, and he was saying that he was with a friend in Paris who is French Canadian.
Yeah.
And they spoke fluent French, obviously.
Yeah.
And the woman at the boulangerie or whatever just spoke English back to her.
Yeah, because they're in the provinces. They're freaking bear hunters in North America. They have nothing to do with Paris. Why are you speaking French, you beaver hunter? Out in the woods.
Well, that's the trick to getting French. Parisians are never going to be polite, but the way to get them to be less rude to you, because many Americans go there and what they do is they're like, "Hey, can I have a baguette?" You have to try to speak French, but speak it so appallingly, even if you're fluent in it. Just speak it with a really bad accent or especially bad grammar. And then they'll
start speaking English.
Then they'll start speaking
English.
Shut you up. Just to shut you the fuck up, right? They don't want to hear your goddamn horrible French that is not spoken like a true Parisian. So they'll shut you up. But that's the only way to get to them to speak to you in English is you have to speak bad French.
You have to speak French.
Even if you're fluent, it's bad French.
Yeah, hideously bad that it disturbs them on a deep level. And they'll start speaking English. That's how you get them to start speaking. You torture them with bad grammar.
I swear.
Misconjugate a couple of verbs and they'll start coughing up the English right quick.
It is actually genuine distressful for them, so they will do anything to stop the stress. Distress, and they'll speak English. That's the way to get them to speak. Comment allez-vous? Hey, bonjour, madame. How's it going?
Way.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been another. Oh, we hit 1,000. It's time to go. They're telling us to shut the fuck up like a Parisian. Great. They're saying get out of here, leave me alone. They're all speaking French now in the comments.
Oh, how fabulous.
Let's play one more thing.
What else? Okay.
Yellow is in the comments. So we're gonna see you Sunday at 2 p.m. live, right? We're not going to be out at 7 a.m. like usual. We're going to be at 2 p.m. same time. Oh, wow. Why am I dancing so weird? There's a delay. I didn't know I dance so weird. But thank you. And it was fun to be with you, right?
Yeah. It was great.
Uh-oh.
Really great. Really great.
Time to go top up my rosé. My last day of being a Gen X.
I doubt it.
The next episode, I'm fully transitioned.
That's fine. Welcome